Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty back with the letter. We picked up with only Ashton, Rebecca, and Luke still alive. Ashton went into the mansion himself and managed to take out Johannes and is still up in the attic, so let's just get right in there. I stir minutes later once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable, as is moving. While every small motion causes a wince, there will be bruising tomorrow. I can manage. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy, but only with some effort am I able to drag the unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of a handcuff onto his wrist while fastening the other to the bed frame. This should keep him restrained for a few hours, while I'm free to get the fuck out of here and do what I've come for. That isn't to say I'm all better. I still feel shaky after what happened. Everything still hurts, but there is a significant improvement from my previous predicament. Without another look back, I closed the room behind me, ignoring the whispers and desperate cries still ringing in my ears. Power still hasn't come back, and I make my way downstairs. Tricky, considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that'll happen to you.
With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome.
There's nothing to guide me through the darkness. I have to feel my way down, carefully listening for each creak and noise, checking each step I land on before placing a foot on it. Right on cue, the same board I'm stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks, the pieces falling somewhere with a dull thump.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow! Foot!
Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the guests battering the window in the attic. Makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person I've encountered in this house is the butler. Although to some degree that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. Where are the other servants, though? In this storm, wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? The likely assumption is that they're all asleep. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms that they've assigned to the servants' quarters. However, they also have heightened security. I brushed it off earlier, thinking they'd be posted a lot closer to where the master's rooms are, but the second floor's devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. More importantly, where's the scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that I'm here right in the fucking middle of it makes me all the more queasy. And that feeling only escalates once I reach the landing and swing the door open. Only to be greeted by the kitchen, pots, pans, and all. Wasn't that door supposed to open to a hallway? But the pressing matter now is, in one corner, Rebecca watches almost as surprised to see me. Relieved as I am that she has had the sense not to venture deeper into the mansion, can't help but roll my eyes at her, although she preempts me with a reprimand of her own.
Did you really think you could hide this from me?
I had to, Becca.
I mean, he kinda made it clear.
You know, if I didn't ask a G, I wouldn't even have any idea. I know I said I won't stop you, but I had no idea this was where you planned on going.
Question mark.
So the first thing you did is go straight here too.
What do you think?
And how did you even get in here?
We both exchange a look. One that I absolutely don't like.
Someone was screaming, Ash. It led me here.
Without warning, the door behind me slams shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get her out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen and we have two ways out, the back door and the cellar. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull at it, and neither does the back door, as something has locked it firmly on the other side. Rebecca also gives it a few tries, but even then it won't open. There's a long bout of silence in which we simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally led us here. Fuck. In that same moment, once realization dawns and something shifts again. I wonder what would happen if you had high romance with both Isabella and Rebecca as Ashton. Maybe that's why you have that choice at the end if they're both still alive. So you could choose which one to side with so they could force it back down. In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. This is not blood. It's a red filter. Okay, we're sneaking around. Still the same dialogue.
She will eventually die because of you.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true though.
All of it.
Why are you doing this? Just please. Don't you love me?
Miss Hana. Still sneaking around. Briefly, Rebecca hesitates mid-climb and looks back at me, raising an eyebrow, asking for some sort of confirmation from
Go
me.
ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, she follows without any protest. Not that there's any need to. Sometime after entering this room, the whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers, just a silence too deafening. But I'm not letting my guard down until she's on the other side of this nightmare. Safe. For all I know, this may just be the calm before another storm. Without further incident, however, Rebecca makes it to the other side and I'm following after her. However, odd as this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I managed to squeeze myself in. I looked at the CGs, and the park CG still has all of us in it. They don't have like an alternate one for some reason. Skipping. There's Luke holding Rebecca at gunpoint. The hand catches my eye first, next to that smarmy smile on his face while he holds Rebecca at gunpoint. It's sight enough to lodge a painful thorn at my throat. I've been too complacent, too focused on other things that I've completely set aside the fact that Scumbag will not be too pleased to see us here without knowing our reasons. But even with those good intentions, curses, and ghostly apparitions aside, we're still trespassing in his home. The question is if he's even aware that his whole household has somehow disappeared, and that he might be the only one here. Likely not. Fuck. Even with someone he knows, there's a significant effort in him not to simply shoot her.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What's your excuse? Checking on Tio, Luke? Is this an evaluation you teachers are so fond of? Is that it? Is this what this is? I'm doing good, by the way. Kylie just paid a visit yesterday. Lots of drawings involved.
Luke, please.
Oh, please what?
Just this once. Will you listen to what people are telling you? You need to leave this place as soon as you can.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight.
Don't worry, I always consider pressing lighter charges if it's a woman I have to deal with in court. Can't say the same for Feathers here, though.
But really now, I swear, people need to stop breaking into my house! This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
Casually, he waves the handgun at him as if it's just a mere toy and his words are no threat. Safety's off on his. Nothing stopping him from pushing through with his words. Call me paranoid, but at the slight gesture, I draw my own and level at him. Yep, so same thing. So we're gonna save. So I don't know that there's actually any difference here, but I'm gonna try begging him to listen and see if this actually leads to a different thing. I'll probably cut off for when we actually get to Luke's path, because nothing's gonna be different up until the end if anything is different. So we'll try begging him to listen. My life's not the only one at risk here, however. There's Rebecca. We're all unknowing victims to this fucking curse, and I'm in no position to pick who to save and who I should simply let die. Oh.
This is the third time this week, and I'm really getting
You said this
weary of
already.
this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me, or is somebody...
Yep, same dialogue. At the top of the staircase, Hana Wright stands, pale as death and expression eerily calm. A cold chill runs up my spine at the sight. The woman just lingers there, a poor mimicry of life, a chilling smile on her face. Without a doubt, it's her.
Hana? You're not supposed to be here.
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. You look so upset. Are you not happy to see me?
Outside, another streak of lightning flashes and a clap of thunder ripples across the sky, as if this whole thing can't get any more foobar than it already is. Yeah, so we're Luke now, so I'm gonna pause because this should mostly be the same dialogue. Okay, so there is one really random bit of new dialogue. We're at the precinct as Luke to talk to the chief inspector, or whatever his name is. It's like, at least one of us should get some good R&R, because it's not like Harvey isn't going to get any, especially now that his darling wife has left him. I'll be making him busy as punishment for his slacking off and for her disrespect too. Really, I pity the poor old man. Maybe I should send him a gift basket, perhaps more caffeine and smokes to help him along with his bad habits. Or I can leave the precinct, however. A shoulder bumps into mine. I wait for an apology. Then I wait.
Excuse me.
Oh! This is a random new scene? I don't know why this is playing out. Alright, let's read this. There's a twitch in my eye that I can't hide as I look back at the rude old bastard. Especially now when all he does is look back at me as if this is the first time he's seen me. As if he hadn't just nearly shoved me over with his big lump of a body.
You're excused.
Ooh, the way he says it, the way he looks at me, leaves me feeling cold, and I have this gut feeling telling me I should know him. But he doesn't even let me get a word in when he disappears through a door.
A bloody wanker.
That was a random scene. I don't know why we got that one. Maybe that's because of this confrontation? I don't know. So, stepping out from the chaos, letting a breath of fresh air, as fresh as it's gonna get in the city. So we're skipping again, and so I'm gonna pause again. Wait. Gray skies loom over the horizon as the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds and our little Luxborn. So that it doesn't hurt to be out of here for fresh air and sunshine. Walk to the gardens, what little of it is there at the moment, anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here, and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me, and for a minute I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Let's see. Flowers, philosophical.
It's almost all saints, isn't it?
Again, this is dialogue we've seen before. He's talking about his mom.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what you're... Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe. You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. I think this might have to do because we didn't see all the memory fragments. Do I even deserve to talk to her now? It feels wrong to do so after what I've done. Not because I have blood on my hands, no, that's nothing new. But when it's her, when I've killed my lovely Hana... Yeah, again, this is all Alex, so... Pausing the recording again soon. I work here for the lady and carry out what she requested me. This is all the same dialogue! Why does it keep pausing at random times? I want to pause it, but I'm like afraid it's gonna surprise us again. Okay, I'm gonna pause it this time, and for real. So, and we're back. So we're getting to where we left off. Luke heads downstairs and sees Rebecca. So from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out her form, recognize her even. It's all gone crazy when another intruder come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are gonna play fair. But Daisy? What would Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Stop it all off. She has the nerve to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers, what is wrong with the people of this city? Did they really think I'd be fine with them walking into my home like this? What is she even doing in here? If I didn't know any better, she might also be behind Hana's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
She must have a motive.
Make them pay.
And it better be a good one.
Wrong they've done to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least she will deserve. I don't make a habit of harming women, of course, but this is just crossing the line.
Let's see. A high school teacher walks into a mansion.
Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, it sounds close enough to hit that it merely feels like the windows in the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly silent for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards her. Taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in her eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kinda like it, to be honest. Add something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. But short of me getting close to her, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements, while curiosity takes a rear. All the murmurs in my head. It's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. The detective from a few days ago, the one Lee mentioned. Just as he's about to jump down from the furniture, that somehow ended up piled up and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? Did he really think all right to do that in another person's house? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. Fingers firm with my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at Daisy. She's his friend, isn't she? Or maybe a lover? Doesn't matter. I know his kind follows some form of moral standard. He won't let an innocent be harmed, especially if it's someone he cares about. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him, but more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. A life's in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hit the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey. Trapped by his own recklessness.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking.
Well, obviously. Why else? What's your excuse? Checking on I'm doing good.
Luke, please.
Oh, please.
Just this, you need-
Tut, tut, tut. Can't say the same. What's really? This is why.
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all. I can't risk it. The thought of having more dead bodies here? It's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own. Even if he knows it's already too late. Yeah, skipping past that, we're chatting.
This is the 3rd time this week. Did the NCA say which one is it? Mind you.
Okay, Hana shows up, creeps us all out. We remember killing her. Hana's body shudders and shakes as if she's about to have a seizure. You know, we've already had this part. I guess it's just showing different because it's a different cutscene.
What's going on?
Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, while Feather stands protectively in front of her. Brave of him, I have to admit, to put himself in front like that. That doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't him them for? What? There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, it only feels like the beginning of the end.
Stay! No! Stay! No! Someone!
Mother of God.
We're all in.
Stay away from.
Why? Remember, Barry.
I did not do this!
What? Yours doesn't have a stain.
She's lying!
The words sound so familiar. Just a few days ago spouted them with a vile woman. Seeds implanted in their heads. Bloody hell, even Daisy's now looking at me with the same revolting stares people have given me once they know of my dirt.
So it's true then? With Hana? Hana, Luke?
I don't know what she's talking about. Are you that gullible, Daisy? Do you really believe the words of a murderer?
No, you deny it. You see, my love, men just be when you get that back their gun.
Yeah, I hate that it won't let us skip stuff that we've already seen. Because I don't want to cut it when it's like, eventually we will get
Understand where you're playing you.
to another thing that we haven't seen. Can't trust anyone.
You. This is I. If I'm.
Calm down, right? The situation.
You shut up. If it weren't for you, Hana would still be.
Suddenly he steps up and slaps the knife away.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare put that blame on us!
Without batting an eye and glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in an instant, she said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. Should have expected she's not the kind to submit even under threat. Right now, all of us appear smaller, facing her
At
in order.
last I checked. We're not the one whose hands have been stained with his wife's own blood!
The gall of these people. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to their attempts to defend themselves. If they'll take me for someone with half a brain, I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. Doesn't help with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices have also become louder, and something sounding more vicious. I think this room start floating. Flip out. They'll turn on me. Can't let that happen. We're gonna burn the letter.
Well, you may now.
Yeah, don't let us skip. Epilogue. Mansion put back on sale. Luke gets the same fate. Rebecca still became like a speaker or whatever. Published her first book, correcting the inaccuracies. Doing it not for herself, but for the sake of what she had lost after the curse. As fresh as the wounds are still, this is how she remembers. Things were strained between us. With their new work and lives getting busier, the two have eventually drifted apart. Though neither talks about it, and the teacher's still stressed to forget an old flame, it's clear to Rebecca there's still lingering feelings of bitterness left. Ashton's now training people or whatever, as well as what he lost. Yes, that there will come a day when he no longer has to hide behind his own lies. Damon is no longer afraid of facing the truth in his own words. So we're gonna jump right in and get Ash killed in front of Rebecca, because you know we're gonna traumatize her. Now we're probably pausing when we skip through all Luke's dialogue.
Sorry about this.
Wright recoils with a sharp cry of pain. His pistol falls useless to the floor with a loud clank, followed by drops of blood from his bleeding wrist.
Why, you insolent!
Down in 2 seconds when I tackle him to the floor, pinning him with my arm. piercing enough for every occupant on the floor to cover their ears and close their eyes. Then all at once there are images. False, flashing fleetingly, yet burning itself in my mind. Bearing down on me with the weight of its accompanying emotions like they are my own. Some are merely vague, blurry shapes, but the others display vividly. All form a time long gone, a life that was never mine. However, there is no time to make sense of it all. Yeah, this is... Yep. In one moment of clarity, my body moves on its own, heart pounding hard against my ears, blood rushing through every vein. Spurred only by adrenaline and a desperate bid to reach her crouched, unsuspecting form, and I don't even get to yell for her a second time. I don't even get to call her name.
Ash!
An acute pain burst through my chest in the next instant. Notice the necklace breaking. All of a sudden, everything around me feels too sharp, every edge, every point. Even the act of drawing a deep breath alone stings and burns my lungs while intense ache slowly spreads throughout my whole body. Numb. I feel numb. And comes away bleeding, shaking while I can only let out a wet, ragged laugh. Soon without warning, I'm going down on my knees and the whole world is pitching sideways. An arm, firm and stable, is on me the second I stumble back, catching my fall. We got a new CG! Journal update! I knew we'd at least get a new scene for this. Not wanting to risk anything, Ashton quickly disarmed Luke in 2 shots. But before he could move to tackle him, a wail echoed throughout the mansion. In the haze of memories and voices, he noticed something fly by, rapidly heading towards Rebecca. His body moved on its own. She's always been like that, after all.
Ashton?
Her hands are shaking, her lips are quivering while she looks at me with worry. Tears have started to form at their corners, threatening to spill at any moment, and a pang of regret hits me at the sight of it.
This kind of feels like old times, doesn't it?
You dying and me holding you while you're dying?
Ash! Don't...
Sorry, Becca. Looks like this will be the last.
Looks like I won't be able to protect you anymore. Cautiously, despite the stabbing aches shooting up from every movement, I reach a trembling hand up to wipe the tears away. She's never the type to cry, after all. My arm never makes it far, however. Midway, she meets my hand, catching it in a tight grip, as if to still hold on to me. Not that she will be able to. It's all slipping away, just slowly. The pain is easing, everything's going cold.
Stay put, Ash! We'll get you to a hospital!
See, the necklace isn't here in this CG, but it was there in the other one.
Don't move! And stop talking! You're making it worse!
I left the doctor handcuffed upstairs.
Don't worry! You'll be fine! We'll get you help!
I'd like to agree with her on that, reassure her. But I've gone through a lot, survived a lot of shit. Doesn't take a genius to figure out what I'm done for. Whatever hit me, a hole to the chest is fatal enough. I don't think I'm gonna bounce back from this. I'm dying.
Sorry.
Should be afraid in this moment. Yet I'm not. No fear, no dread, just an acceptance. And a deep regret as she appears before us, her voice echoing throughout the foyer. The woman just lingers there, a poor memory of life, a chilling smile on her face. Without a doubt it's her.
I told you everything you're doing is useless, Ashton Frey. And now you're dying. Meddlesome fool.
Hannah?
Oh, Luke, are you...
A little heart beats one last time. She got one thing wrong, though. I will not die. I did not die alone. Unlocked a memory fragment. So, we're gonna pause again, because this is probably gonna be the same stuff. Okay, so we're back to right before Ashton's about to get himself killed.
Sorry about this.
Alright, so we've already seen this part. Just a graze, however, it's enough to cause my fingers to tense and the pistol slides to the floor with a dull thud.
Why, you
And he's pinned to the ground. And with each sharp note beating harshly against my head are the images again. Faces and voices so utterly unfamiliar, seeping into every crevice, turning sinister with each shift. They are not mine, but they might as well be with how vivid and crisp they appear. Over and over they have flashed behind my eyes until it becomes unbearable. Pounding, throbbing, thudding against my skull worse than any headache a hangover can give. Bloody, I'll take a hangover over this any day. Haze begins to fill my vision as black spots dance around the corners of my eyes. Beside me, the detective suddenly moves, shouting a name I don't quite hear, and then... In the next second he falls, down on one knee, desperately trying to keep himself up with what strength he has left. But eventually his own body caves in, taking the horrified Daisy down with him, muttering quietly to her as something distinctly red flows from his body. Blood? This man isn't supposed to be dead yet. He isn't supposed to. I didn't shoot him, I'm sure of it. Yeah, he has a thing sticking out of him. So what killed him? What in bloody blazes is going on here? Is it so wrong to just want a quiet night where nothing needs attending to? Just one normal night. Quickly, everything has turned crazy with perilous happenings that are hard to explain. But it seems that, when it comes to me, death is always around the corner. I want to look him over. This is going to cause more problems. All this screaming and crying for a detective who's died for no apparent reason is giving me a migraine. I need to get all these people out of my house, one way or the other. But in the blurry mess of my vision, none of this registers enough to compel my body to move. Nothing does. Except for the voice unexpectedly ringing above the discord, and when I finally gather my strength to look up, everything falls away into the background. All that matters is her.
I told you, didn't I? And now...
Hannah?
So, Hannah's saying the same stuff. Remembering that we killed her. Hannah's body shudders and shakes as she has a seizure. It's a little thing, a whisper, more than a bang as the darkness creeps in every corner of the room.
What's going
I'm not sure how she can even keep herself together, having witnessed the death of a friend. Or is he a lover? Not that she has any other choice in this. Seems to be no end in sight to this insanity.
No, stay. No, someone!
Wait, Mother of God, we're all...
I'm sorry.
Oh, we got Ashton's voice in there. He's reaching out for Luke.
stay away!
Remember the very same.
I did not do-
What of her then? Yours doesn't have stain.
She's lying!
The word sounds so familiar. Just a few days ago, spouted them to that woman. Defending myself, especially against the likes of her, is pointless, yet I still continue. I'm not even sure why. I need to dispose of her now that she knows.
So it's true then?
I don't know what- Are you that-
No, you didn't. You see, my love. Now, just be. You can end that cold. There you come.
And with its owner having met a gruesome death, now it simply bears its equally grisly message for everyone in the room to see. An invitation indeed, one I'm not willing to accept at any time. Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panic gasps and worried glances from Daisy, I pay no mind as I reach for the main door and... Yep, we get pulled into the study.
You? Is it?
Who knows what Daisy can do to me? Now that she knows what I've done, there are only two of us in this room. She can easily do anything and the world will not know. There's books everywhere. Of course, I can easily overpower her. She doesn't look like she can hold a fight on her own. Her temper's all she has. What if she's in cahoots with a creature? Fuck. I cannot trust her not to turn on me. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Everything that I've built has fallen apart.
You! This is all your fault! If I'm dying to this bloody curse, I'm taking you down with me!
Luke, calm down. You're just making this worse.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, none of this would have happened! Hannah would still be...
Snaps the
Don't
mess
you
away.
dare, Luke! Last I checked,
All of her. Bloody peasant. Should've just stabbed her and made her run for it. You're just gonna burn the letter? I do wish they'd stop repeating this same basic ending where we just burn the letter.
For fuck's... Well, you can thank me later. You may now show yourself up!
She can find her way out of this place, I'm sure. I better not catch her here again. Being nice enough as it is. Probably gonna get the same, more or less, ending. An investigation headed by the newly appointed Chief Inspector Abigail Harris. All of rights illegal. Yep, so no, she was the one who exposed him. Undeterred by her loss, Rebecca Gales attempts to bounce back almost as soon as she can afford. Immediately returning to her teaching post at St. Coretti High School, believing her usual busy routine will keep the memories of the tragedy at bay. Putting on a mask in spite of the worried glances and questions her parents often shoot her way. Yet even with her earnest efforts, images of the woman and the people she lost that day still worm its way into her mind. A quiet thing gradually eating away at her, and soon she is forced to take a break after an accidental outburst at a student. Although she tries to remain strong, she is also aware that things in her life, will never be the same again. Amidst her grief, Rebecca finds an unlikely companion in Luke Wright. While he avoids the city like a plague nowadays after the loss of his company, and Hana, he manages to drop by from time to time. Also to check on his goddaughter, Kylie Swarmrose, though the man still won't admit it when asked. Becca still regards the man as insufferable. She doubts it'll ever change, but after all the tragedy she has seen, as much as she denies it, she now considers his presence the closest thing she has to comfort. A similar sentiment the former businessman seems to hold. Their friendship may be awkward at best, but with the grim reality of death having once shadowed over the two of them, it's something they eventually grow fond of in time. So we still got a bit of time. Not sure what I want to do next. Like, I do want to do one with each of the cast being the sole survivors out of everyone else. But I'm worried how much dialogue it's gonna make me repeat. I also want to do a everyone hates each other run. And see, like, if we can all just destroy their friendships but everyone survives. So I'm gonna pause it here. And pick up later. Might kill off Isabella, might not. Although I'll probably do both. So, hello everyone. So, killed off Isabella, and we're in Hana's chapter now. I'm still trying to get her killed, but while doing that, I decided to do the hatch thing to see if her being possessed changed anything. So, we got some new lines here. This is like the dream all over again. There's a hook in my stomach as well, but this time it doesn't pull me back. Instead, it pulls me forward. There is a lurching sensation, and the feeling that follows is hard to explain. Okay, so let's skip this QT. Yeah, we're gonna pause it again because I think it's just repeating. So this is right after Isabella's murder has been discovered. Apparently if Hana gets possessed, she cannot be murdered by Luke, so... I mean, she's still technically dead, so whatever. So this time we're gonna pick Follow Ashton. Because we already did, like, an ending with Rebecca. Oh, let's do Ashton. In the end, I need to fix whatever rift I have unintentionally opened between us. Wins out. I have 20 billion journal entries. It's these... Zach punched him. I guess this isn't a new one yet. The punch might have been an instinctive reaction brought about by high emotions after getting caught in the moment, but at the end of the day, someone has to ask for forgiveness. I still need the answers too, and who better to get it from than Ashton? I already lost sight of the guy, though he shouldn't be too hard to find around here. Thankfully, the crowd has already thinned, most having already lost interest in the commotion that entails the discovery of a crime scene, and left. You do linger, just some report has been... Yeah, we got that part already.
Like a pack of wolves descending on a piece of meat.
The thought alone rankles. No sooner I find him standing close to a police van parked nearby. Or rather, hear him. Just as I'm about to make the turn, an unfamiliar voice stops me in my
Forensics
tracks.
say it may take longer than usual. One piece of a long-ass process this is gonna be. Don't give me that look, Frey. You've seen how terrible the shape of the body is in. Almost spilled my guts out when I saw it. And I've seen a lot of dead bodies in my life.
I can't see who the other person is, but it's likely the officer he mentioned earlier. When Ashton answers, it's in the same composed manner he typically carries with him, as if this is simply another case for him to solve.
This was done by a professional, Abigail.
Sure it is. Or a wild animal. Maybe some monster, like the ones you'll find in a flick.
Don't be ridiculous. This is far from usual. But there's certainly an explanation to it. A logical one. Consider what we have right now. The place is clean, has been cleaned. No fingerprints, no hair, or any other way to indicate someone else has been in the apartment aside from Isabel, the victim.
Please don't tell me you've never heard of the Anselm Butcher case.
Didn't the trail for that case go cold?
Until recently, yeah? Remember the woman from the other day? Not as gruesome, but same sitch. Help me everywhere. CSI guys also found a weird note with the same thing written in Santos's room. I'd bet my boots Chief's gonna flip once he reads the reports. He never did catch who committed those murders years ago, and now his favorite serial killer is back. Bless Cooper's and Santos's poor souls. Some suspense mystery thriller this is turning out to be. Or a huge pain in the ass. Chief better give us a raise after this.
What did you say?
Chief better give us a raise? You know we're overdue for one.
No, before that. Say that again.
The note? It's with the forensics now if you want to check.
Not that one. A name. You mentioned a name. Cook? Coombs?
The Cooper woman? Oh yeah, you weren't there. Christ, Frey, at least check the reports for the other cases. Let's see. Rose Pamela Cooper, real estate agent, found dead in her flat the other day. Same modus operandi. Scene was clean, blood and entrails everywhere, whoop-de-doo, there goes my lunch, and a message written in blood.
Poor Rose. We can't do anything for her. I can almost hear the gears turning in his head at the
The
information.
job. Her job. Where did you say she was working?
I didn't say anything, but it's Briar Realty, same one as this girl. Might be connected, huh?
They were the agents who handled the sale of the mansion to the Wrights.
Yep. Big news, that one property. Got a relative working in that real estate company once. He was laid off a year ago, along with a few dozen employees. I actually thought they're about to go under. Guess not. But 2 employees from the same company dead in the span of a week. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they did something fishy with a deal and things somehow got awkward with the client, if you know what I mean.
But the client's Luke Wright, and he wouldn't hurt anyone.
This might be the result.
Isabella's not that kind of person!
I mean, it doesn't have to be Isabella. It could be anyone. His son almost makes me pause. I've seen him annoyed before, frustrated even. His son has makes for a funny sight. But on a job, he shared a few of his cases with me before. I'd like to think I know how he works by now. And he has never once taken this kind of attitude in any of those.
Whoa there, hotshot. Calm down. I was just thinking out loud. Don't get snippy with me. And how the fuck do you even know she's not?
I know she's not. I wasn't... Sorry. I've got a filed report. I'm leaving this to you. Keep me updated. Sorry. I've got a filed report. I'm leaving this to you. I'll be back later.
I don't get that dialogue.
Figures. Go get some rest while you're at it. We've been at this since last night. Even I can't keep myself awake that long. You're still young, a hard-working kid. But don't kill yourself over every case you're handling, got it?
Now she's being nice to me.
Thanks. Not this one, I'm afraid.
An irrational panic surges in me at the sound of his footsteps. It ain't my intention to eavesdrop, if this can still be called eavesdropping when they were talking loud enough for me to hear. I certainly can leave, but what good will that do? In any case, I still need to give these photographs back to him. Except he doesn't notice me when he passes. Even with the tentative hand I raise to get his attention, he continues to walk with a purpose, each stride quick and decisive. Look on his face, however, there are really no other words for it. He looks pissed as hell. As if he wasn't the if he was the kind of person, I'd wager good money that the next one who annoyed him would end up injured in some capacity.
Hold on!
He stops, appears to let out half a dozen expletives despite his restraint, where his tight expression eases into a small frown upon seeing me.
Zach? Didn't I say...
You forgot these.
I weigh the photos in front of him. Recognition slips across his features before he walks over and takes them off my hands without so much as a thanks. Neither of us speak while he clips all of it back to his file. What else is there to talk about? A jest would be too inappropriate given the gravity of the situation. An apology right now, despite my intent when I sought him out, will be too early, too easy, too hasty. Not with our minds still reeling from the news, not with all of us still finding ways to cope with our own grief. And this is how he does it, with feigned indifference and an air of aloof detachment.
You heard?
I can't fool him with
What?
that.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I didn't mean to overhear sensitive stuff. But you left these, and you and that officer were...
It's fine. You need to hear from someone eventually. Better to hear from people who have the fact instead of some random gossip.
What happens now, Ash?
I'll get to the bottom of this, I promise, even if I have to do it with my own hands. I'll make sure the person who did this will pay.
How? Do you think this has something to do with that other case?
Can't say, but make sure you stay far away from the Wrights. We've got enough problems as it is. I don't need another one adding more to it.
Ooh. Wait, brakes, Ash, brakes. What about those things on the wall? Maybe she's right. Maybe it has something to do with what she's been telling us all this time.
At least it's finally letting us skip. I think I'll have Zach be the sole survivor this time. No. So I will pause for now while we skip through Zach's stuff, because we've already seen what happens when Isabel dies, so it shouldn't be a lot of the same. Okay, so we're still Zachary, and we're just at the part where I chose not to go in the mansion as Zach. And I noticed we had a new journal entry. An apologetic Zachary decided to follow Ashton. There he overheard talk about the notorious Ansel Busher, a serial killer who leaves help me messages with his victims, similar to the one found with Isabella's. Ashton promised Zach he'll catch whoever did this to their friend. So, Ash wants us to get out of here. Last time I heard him speak like that, a friend ended
I'll
Oh,
be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
So we're Marianne now, and I'm gonna pause again. Okay, so we're playing as Rebecca now. Marianne's story is largely unaffected by what happens with the other guys. I ended up actually not killing Marianne this time, because even though I'm trying to do like Soul Survivor playthroughs, she doesn't really affect the others, and I want to see if I can get some new ending for her. And well, I do also plan to see if I can get an ending with like when Ash dies, if she does anything. Probably not, but so Rebecca now. The body was just found, and we got a new dialogue here. Maybe because we had Zach talk with Ashton instead of her. So I left the scene as soon as the investigators are done with their questions.
I wonder if those two are going to be okay.
So pausing again. So, continuing on Rebecca's route, we're gonna assist Zach this time, just kinda randomly. Zachary's kind enough to make room when I approach, offering me another one of those tender smiles he never seems to lose before he scoots aside. This one, though, never reaches his eyes, a feeble attempt at keeping cheer. I return it regardless, perhaps in the same half-hearted manner too. He's noticed he doesn't comment on it. There's no point in forcing it after all, even if it's for the sake of showing mere pleasantries. Afterwards, we both lapse comfortably into silence, working diligently through the mess of papers and books around us. For a few good minutes, we sort everything into boxes. The pile will immediately be sent to her family. It's important. A collection of postcards. Yeah, we did all this. One that's only broken when Zachary chances upon a huge pile of notebooks under her bed. Sketch pads, each one thoroughly used. More than the ones we've gone through earlier. Gingerly, he reaches for one and flips through it. Each of its pages reveals a drawing. Ash should be looking like a ninja up there. Of people or objects, sometimes there would be animals, but in a great number of them there's us. There's a doodle of Zachary smiling, one of me looking at a distance, and in a few pages Ashton, all moments she captured without us knowing, all signed under her name. It hits me as we pore over each pad that this is one of those things that she has never shared before. In the 5 years I've known her, I've never once seen any of these. Just a thoughtful expression while he turns the page with every care in the word, as if he's holding the most precious thing in his hands right now. In the face of it, my own curiosity wins, put under the guise of a passing comment.
I've never seen these before.
Really?
She did mention that she was an art student. Before she had to come here, yes? She told me she had to quit school and work, but
That whole before thing wasn't even there.
I never knew she was this good.
That's alright. I found it by accident too. She didn't want to show me at first. But hey, it's Isabella. All you have to do is bribe her with food. Works every time.
Not all the time. When she puts her mind to it, she's stubborn. But this, I don't know. I guess it bothers me a little that she never talked about this. I mean, look at all of it. I can't even draw anything past stick figures. Had I known, I would have asked for her help on those visual aids for my class.
I want to see Rebecca's stick figure drawing.
Maybe that's why she didn't tell you.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing, ma'am. Just pulling your leg. But we were planning an exhibit, you know? She wanted to surprise you guys. It was supposed to happen after the movie and her work with the mansion. I guess that ain't gonna happen now, huh?
Mood shifts then. Ever so slightly, utterly unintentional, after all the good humor and rapport we've established. Everything's still too fragile right now, too easily broken. It'll take weeks, perhaps even months or years. Perhaps it'll be one for each day she has spent with us. How about you can still do one on your own? Well, at least we don't have to be super mean to him. However, even words of comfort, no matter how well-intentioned they are, fall meaningless in the face of
You
grief.
can still do one on your own.
Admittedly, it's an instant suggestion, born from the lack of knowledge, maybe to the point of ignorance. And I know I choose the wrong thing to say when Zachary, with all the companionable air he carries, tenses and stills. He folds his hands in his lap, the good humor in him is suddenly gone while a pensive expression takes over his face.
Thanks, Rebecca. In the future, probably, just not right now.
Oh, sorry. That was... I wasn't thinking when I said that.
It's fine. I understand.
He's too nice.
We're all going through the same thing. We'll all get used to this later on.
He attempts a brave smile, but the slump on his shoulders betrays all of his goodwill. Ultimately, we both settle for another silence, long and almost deafening, except for this time, it's filled with every unuttered regret and mistake. But if we were to move past this, sometimes those are the very same things we need to face, little by
You
little.
should still do it, though. Eventually. If Isabella was here, that's what she'd like you to do.
No further words are exchanged after that. He doesn't respond any more than what he has offered, neither am I expecting him to, and perhaps it is for the better. We manage to pack most of Isabella's belongings by the time we all have to leave for work, but at the threshold we hesitate. Oh, is it? No, that's the prison. Oh. While packing Isabella's things to return to her family, Rebecca and Zachary found a sketchbook she had always kept private. To cheer him up, Rebecca suggested that he could still do an art exhibit even without Isabella, but this remark just upset Zachary. So, pausing because we're back to skipping. Oh.
Welcome everyone.
Oh, well, I'm gonna skip again, so pausing. Okay, so we're back. We're getting Rebecca killed on the rooftop of the library, but surprise! Except the one that greets me isn't who I'm expecting. I guess it's Hana who's come to kill her because Hana's possessed.
Hana?
Oh, Becky, sweetie. Why would you ever run away from me?
Because you look crazy.
The trek up here must be exhausting, isn't it? You poor darling.
The voice is the same, even the looks, yet nothing about this Hana screams of the Hana I know. She exudes none of the sweetness or cordiality that has always been with her, even when faced with people she barely knows. If I'd not seen what I've seen, heard what I've heard this past week, I'd very likely brush this darling disconnect to the odd weather. However, something's off with her, and my mind is screaming the space between us is best kept for now.
Why don't you come here, sweetie? Downstairs with me?
I can't.
Oh, why ever not?
Please, Hana. Just leave.
Don't be such a spoil sport, honey. Don't you want to catch up? It's been years since we've seen each other, hasn't it? Don't you miss big sister Hana?
Maybe some other time, Hana. I'm here on important business.
Important business, she says. Little Becky all grown up. Now she's learning to meddle. Tell me, darling, what did the curious girl find out?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, believe me, it is. It is now.
Especially if it involves my darling prince.
She laughs, her features contorting into something horrid close to grotesque. A twisted little thing completely removed from the person I've met not a day ago. This isn't Hana. She's gone, and this little fact causes me to take a wary step back. Since when? She appeared okay in the housewarming party. And as annoying and overbearing I find her husband is... I feel sorry for the bawhide. He might be an asshole, but he doesn't deserve this. Hana doesn't deserve
What's
this.
wrong, Becky? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I'm pretty sure I have.
All I'm asking is what brought you here at this hour.
It's the middle of the day.
Of course, if you didn't do anything wrong, we wouldn't be having this problem, yes?
Stay away from me!
A useless plea. Does she even understand a word I say? Can she even? She's still human in the first place? Somehow I doubt it. Because no human being would ever do this.
You and your friends have become such a nuisance to our lives. So do me a favor, sweetie, and come with me. I promise it'll be worth your while.
Simply imagining what she's capable of doing to us. I never want to give her that chance.
I'm telling you to back off!
How rude. I'm sure Mumsy Gales wouldn't be happy about that. Please be a good girl now.
Her gait is slow as she walks forward. With every inch she draws nearer, even as I pull away to take back what little distance I can between us, the smile on her merely grows wider. A mocking gesture. For me. She may be less of a human now, but I'm pretty sure she's fully aware she's got me cornered. She wouldn't even bother making it here if she wasn't. But I can look away. I can't bring myself to, even as the heel of my shoe eventually hits the edge. End of the line. Trapped. Alone. So this is how it ends, huh? Quietly and without fanfare, surrounded not by a warm breeze, but a chilly morning air. No soft footfalls on an empty hallway, but the din of an early morning traffic below. No warm afternoon light. Nothing but the cold, pungent smell of death, all underneath the dreary morning sky. How fitting. Yet amidst all of it, there's a single voice I want to hear.
Hey!
No, where are you?
It's the same voice as before.
Hush. Pappy, what? Nothing. It's...
Whatever.
Yeah, we've seen this one already.
Thanks, Ash.
Hold on, Rebecca.
I'm so...
Wait, what? God damn it.
Soft click, and I'm closing my eyes. Is the journal entry new? Nope. There's a rush of air, sound of the world dimming.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
We got a memory fragment. And we're Ashton now. So, pause it again. So, we're Ashton now. And for some reason, even though we picked Stretch to the Truth, we got this random new bit of dialogue, which... I'll play it for you again. I don't know why we got this all of a sudden.
I mean, what good reason could you have to act like an antisocial asshole?
Like, we didn't do nothing different, we just randomly got
The
that.
only time you did talk to me was to spout some vague nonsense about Luke. What was that all about? Were you somehow expecting me to just...
You really shouldn't go near that man, Becca.
Why? Because you don't trust him? I wonder if you actually trust anyone.
I have no idea what brought this on.
Aside from the three of us, Zach, Isabella, and myself, do you even have any other friends? If you're perfectly fine with that, I can have a life of my own. Friends that I don't... I'm an adult, Ashton. If you're perfectly fine with that, then go ahead. No one is stopping you. But don't expect me to share the same views. I can have a life of my own. Friends that I don't necessarily share with you. I'm an adult, Ashton. And I can make my own bloody decisions. I sure as hell can choose the people I want to let into my life.
Of course, she's allowed to do as she pleases. I never mentioned that she couldn't. Us growing up together doesn't mean it always has to be the two of us. It's a dumb idea to believe in, with nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change throughout the years. She'll make friends with other people outside of our little circle. I'm just as free to form relationships with other people. But why of all people did it have to be him? Why does it have to be Luke Wright? That guy's nothing but trouble. Why would you defend a guy like that? She's already calling him Luke, for Pete's sake.
I trust Zach, I trust Isabella, and I trust you, Rebecca. So why can't you trust me on this?
I still don't know why we suddenly got this new line of dialogue.
You need to stay away from that man, because he's... I really wish I could tell you.
What was that saying Isabella mentioned before? A liar is a brother of a thief. So, pause it again after... Oh. No, here we go again! You pointed that at yourself
Becca,
last
even
night.
if he is, you know he'll make time for me. I'm his favorite...
Well, now we're pausing. So, Ashton is briefly flashing back to that conversation he had with the lady.
Cook, Coos...
The Cooper woman? Oh yeah, you went there. Christ, Frey, at least check the reports for the other cases. Let's see. Rose Pamela Cooper, real estate agent, found dead in her flat the other day. Same modus operandi. Scene was clean, blood and entrails everywhere, whoop-de-doo, there goes my lunch, and a message written in blood.
The job. Her job. Where did you say she was working?
I didn't say anything, but it's Briar Realty, same one as this girl.
They were the agents who handled the sale of the mansion to the Wrights.
Yep. Big news, that one property. Got a relative working in that real estate company once. He was laid off a year ago, along with a few dozen employees. I actually thought they're about to go under. Guess not. But 2 employees from the same company dead in the span of a week. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they did something fishy with a deal and things somehow got... awkward with the client, if you know what I mean. This might be the result.
Sure, I could also check the station for reports. That's the easy, semi-legal way. So, I think we can pause now. I think that was just a random flashback. Okay, so we're still Ashton. We called Zach and got through to him. We were in Isabel's apartment. And it's before I can wallow in my mistakes, I hastily put everything back together, turn off Isabel's laptop, and open the door. All of a sudden knock breaks through the moment, just as fast. My attention shifts towards the source. Hopefully I'll be greeted by some good news this time. Unrelated frustrations aside, once I step out of the room and accept the call, the stone that has been stuck in my stomach simultaneously lodges itself in my throat. There in the hallway, Zach stands, hands raised for another knock. Okay, I think they got, like, lines mixed up, because that call should not be that thing about a call, because it's not a phone call.
You said it was urgent. Did anything happen? Is it Becca?
Everyone's fine. Well, Becca's not here. She went somewhere this morning and hasn't answered any of my calls yet.
So, nothing's wrong? Why'd you call me here for then? And what are you even doing here? You know Bella wouldn't be happy you're snooping around here. It's still hers.
My explanation can wait. He has a lot of explaining to do. The fact that he went to Ansem alone for some godforsaken reason warrants a proper one. Ghost or not, he's already been given a warning. It frustrates me to no end that this might be the plan he mentioned the last time we spoke. I get that he's worried about Hannah Wright. Somehow they'll become friends, but that's not the issue here. Not when there's a murderous ghost who might go after one of us at any given time. Sure, Zach made it here in one piece. By some dumb luck, he's alright. And that takes one off the list of people I need to worry about. Frankly, as annoyed as I am, I can't just stay angry when I took at the situation that way. Now, if that call didn't connect in that exact minute, there might have been a chance he won't be standing here. This is a blessing in itself. But first things first, something to discuss. Specifically, the elephant in this room. It's a big damn elephant. And considering the possible outcomes Zach's cute little plan might have resulted in, I might as well let off some steam first before we go to the heart of things.
Zach, we agreed you won't do anything stupid.
I hope we get more of an interesting thing to Rebecca's death than we got with Rebecca learning Zach was dead.
Really, Ashton? That's what you're gonna greet me with? No, what's up, Z-Man? I just biked through almost half of this city to get here. I could use some friendly greetings right now. An explanation would be good too if you can. You weren't very clear over the phone, and I made no such promises.
You said you're not going to do anything reckless. Your words, not mine. What you did is the exact opposite.
Probably should have had a save as Zach.
And that's not the only problem here. Those people can easily sue you for breaking and entering, and believe me, I won't be able to do anything if they do. Did that cross your mind? The whole 46-acre lot is a private property. Why were you even there?
I know, Ash. But the people in there might be in danger. You've seen how Hannah's photos turned out. Besides, I was looking for you. Didn't I tell you that?
Why would I even go there?
Well, you mentioned the plan. I assume that's where you went since that's where Isabella found the letter.
Sorry. I was really at a dead end.
The logic in it stuns me to silence, to say the least. Then I remember his hesitance, the tone he has taken before agreeing to go here, and all at once my anger wanes. Partly this is my fault for keeping things vague. Zachary arrived at Salem well, tired and frazzled. Upon learning that he had come from the Ermengarde mansion that morning, a very irate Ashton chided his friend for ignoring his warnings being reckless. Berating him for assuming that when I've only left him with vague answers. Still.
You could have called me.
I did.
I didn't receive any, and my phone was with me.
You're kidding, right? I was at it the whole night.
I think some of this is repeated from when we met up with Zachary on my first playthrough.
Please tell me you joke.
You can, but do it later, Zach. Just as I was about to leave, I saw... But do it later. It's more important that you hear what happened at BRC last night.
Sup, Bob Ash from Deluxe City.
Never get to finish that. Abruptly, my phone rings again, blaring its badly saying ringtone through the whole room. Zach pauses, waiting. Pull up the caller ID.
I'll tell her to get here as soon as she can. Excuse me.
Another way to slip out of the room and answer the call. The tone? Yeah, we already know this conversation.
Becca?
Here's us at the police station, although we are clearly not there now.
Hey!
No, where are
this?
No, burn. You're whatever. Rebecca, wait, what? God. Becca?
Dread turns into terror, and the sudden commotion from Isabel's room comes rushing in all at once. Zach must have turned on the television while waiting. It's broadcasting some news about a jumper all over the city. I've no doubt the police radio in my car is also blasting the same thing. There's a split second where I'm torn between trying to figure out where Becca is and finding out what happened to inspire such chaos all of a sudden. Then Zach's horrified gasp tears above everything else. He lets out a panicked shout for me, and nothing else matters.
Ashton!
Spurred on by a cold gut feeling, I rush back inside. Only to bump into the big guy. The impact causes me to stumble back. It takes a whole 2 breaths to steady myself and get my bearings back. Even Zach's somber expression doesn't completely register until I glance up at him and a heap of questions in my eyes.
Zach, what are you?
He merely looks away, not to avoid my gaze, but to lead it towards the television still blasting the same news from earlier. A live broadcast. At the same time, a cold and cruel voice whispers in my head, "You're too late." I want to believe it isn't. I hope and wish it isn't who I think it is, because I don't want to be someone who has been so useless in the exact moment, paralyzed by dread when I heard her speak. I knew something was off, goddammit. I don't want to think that might have been her final words I was listening to. The horrifying possibility that what I dread is real drowns out everything else. The second my eyes land on the screen, understanding dawns on me. A woman jumps to her death from Luxborn's public library rooftop. I love how God she jumped. Does no one assume I was pushed? Does no one notice the help me on the sidewalk? Unless she actually did jump to try and escape the ghost. I'm useless. Becca. I'll recognize her anywhere. I can make out her form even the way the station has blurred out her image on the TV. This is actually pretty graphic. Can you actually show this on TV? And for once, this isn't a welcome fact. Too clear, too vivid. Her broken body lies on the sidewalk in just one big bloody mess. Her hair fans out and stands out in stark contrast to the pavement, slick with blood and redder than it's ever been. Well, you can't see all this. The right side of her head is caved in from the impact and her right arm is twisted and mangled. And there are those words again around her. Help me, just like the letter.
Medical personnel are on their way. Officers have resumed securing the immediate area for investigation and cleanup.
Gone.
Others have been dispatched for crowd control.
This is way better than when Zach died and Rebecca barely reacted. She's gone, and I wasn't able to do a damn thing about it. Even now, I can't do anything other than stare at the tragedy playing out in front of us. I can't even bring myself to move, because no matter what I say or what I do right now, empty words won't bring back the friend we lost. Numb is an understatement. No, I feel dead inside. We both do. My knees buckle, and in the end, I can only scream. So we're gonna end this part here. Sorry, it was a lot of pausing and unpausing, but there is a lot of repeated stuff for doing these different paths. We will do one for Isabella where she and Ashton survive. Or, well, they make it to the end alone. I'll have Isabella be this. I keep saying sole survivor, but Luke tends to survive in these. He's surprisingly hard to kill. So, thank you all so much for watching this craziness. Please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye!